And we're back for another episode. In this episode, we're going to be doing the 3.4 Scholasticate quest. And as always, hello from Mithrie. Hello. So this is pretty much the only quest I've got left in the entire of Ishgard. I've done every other quest, whether it's class quest or everything quest, so it's just these two. And what I am aiming to achieve by finishing these two quests are these two achievements. So finding Eula will mean the end of 3.4, which will be the end of this episode, and the life and lives of Father Saturnius will be the end of 3.5. So these will be two separate videos, hopefully just under an hour each. So we are here with Brydian at the St. Raymonald's Cathedral. So let's do it. So the first quest is called Divine Reckoning. Brayhardian, I'm just going to call him B just because I don't like his name, appears to be lost in thought. So, if it isn't my most trusted associate back from the field. As you will doubtless have seen yourself, change is sweeping through Ishgard, and the vial which once threatened to smother the hearts and minds of our people is slowly but surely being lifted. 'Tis as if our fair city has been born anew, and it is in large part thanks to you, which is not to say our problems have come to an end. No, the silent struggle between the lowborn and the highborn goes on, growing more fractious by the day. I have come to believe that someone somewhere is fanning the flames of hatred to further their own ends, and I am convinced now more than ever that Eula's sudden disappearance, alongside that of a volume of 11 of the articles of Hellenic polity, is no more coincidence. Both she and it, after all, were passionate advocates of equality among men. As to who is responsible and what their intentions might be, I cannot say. Ascertaining these things will no doubt require that we first find the missing girl, and as of this moment, our best hope of learning her whereabouts may rest on discovering the fate of the book. As such, I shall continue searching for any clue which might lead us to the missing tome. In the meantime, I ask that you trouble the students for any information they might have on Eula. Failing that, find out if they have witnessed any unusual occurrence around the Scholasticate, anything at all. Well then, let us be about it. Cool. Right, so let's do it. Let's do this. Okay, so we're going to ask this person first. So, welcome back, Mithrie. Pray allow me to show you inside. Yeah. Oh, well. Yeah. So, guys, if you don't know what this questline is, these are effectively scholars of Ishgard. And we are basically learning. This is more, it's almost like a political quest line, to be perfectly honest. Like what they believe in their past, what they don't believe, what they're studying, what's written in these books, stuff like that. So, but they are quite interesting stories, that's for sure. Let's talk to this one first. So, Blacy has been so distracted lately. I'm lucky if I can get a simple good morning from her. Ever since Eula left, she's been rushing about the city like a madwoman, looking for any information she can to find on the girl, that she might have an excuse to talk to Theo Mosent. Okay, next. Let's do this. So, how many times must I say this? Eula was not coerced into leaving, nor was she abducted, nor did she die from a fictitious disease. She quit the Scholasticate on her own free will, for reasons known only to her and the Fury. Really, is it so difficult to understand? The lessons of Volume 11 seemed to resonate deeply with Eula. She would oft stay up into the small hours reading and rereading them. Mayhap they spurred her to steal away in the night and take up with the revolutionaries. So, one of the seniors told me she'd been diagnosed with something called lung rot, and that she's too weak to attend any of her classes. Thinking back, I did hear her coughing from time to time, but I had no idea it was anything so serious. Okay, let's talk to this last person. So, the only really unexpected change I've seen of late is in Lei's attitude towards Cram Voice. He really seemed to have warmed to him. Why, he even went as far as to initiate a conversation the other day. Ha! He spoke to me, it is true, but it was not out of fondness. He merely hates me very slightly less than he values Eular's safe return. That's cool. Okay, that's done. So we need to talk to this last person. So welcome back, Mistress Menethil. What a pleasant surprise it is to see you. How might I be of service to you this day? Stuff. Theo Mosent. In the wake of Eular's withdrawal, he and Lei have devoted their every waking moment to the task of uncovering her whereabouts. They are quite adamant that the girl must be found and persuaded to resume her studies here. As a matter of fact, they approached me earlier today to beg leave to travel to Grogane Mills, claiming that a trip there would yield the information they needed to accomplish their aim. No sooner had I granted their request than they rushed off. Such compassion and eagerness to serve others is a rarity even among the clergy. I cannot tell you how proud I am of what fine young men they have become. Cool. So we have to go to Corvus Western Highlands. Right here. Wow. So I do like doing all these side quests, finding out more of the lore of the game. As I said in the Hildebrand episode just before, like, reading through all the quest text, watching all the cutscenes, I feel is really, really important in MMORPGs. In RPGs just generally. Like, the whole point of an RPG, you're role-playing a character. I'm role-playing Mithrie Menethil going through this world. So, of course, I want to know everything I can. It's not a case of, oh, look at me, I got the quickest kill on some random scripted boss. It's a case of, like, what have I learned from this world that they've created? How am I engaged in the story? And so on. So I'm not like a complete role-playing player. I'm not, you know, I'm not going to swing my axe and be like, oh, that axe is heavy. I'm not that. I don't go into that depth. But, you know, that is the idea behind RPG games. That's why they were invented, is to role-play. And, you know, I will say it again, reiterate, it is very important to get and pay attention to everything. If you don't, you're missing out on half of the game. Simple as that. So, and even if quests are tedious, some of them are boring or whatever, then just do them all. You know, that's life. You know, some bits of life are exciting, some bits of life are boring. It's just, you know, that's just how it is. There's no good without bad, let me just say that. Okay, here's Theo Mosent. So, Mithrie, is it really you that we should be reunited thus amid the snowy peaks of Corvus? Why, it's nothing short of a miracle. I sense the hand of the divine at work. Halon has answered our prayers. Theo, Mithrie has no idea what you're talking about. By all means explain, but do it slowly, from the beginning. My apologies. Excitement got the better of me, Mithrie. This is the resting place of Father Choso, the man who found room in his heart for 2 waifs from the street, granting them the opportunity to rise above their station in life. Do you perchance recall the book that was stolen from Theo and burned by that lost soul that we once fought as a brother? It was one of the last mementos we had of the man. Now, all that's left is to remind us of him is this place. Indeed, and while we often come here to seek solace and guidance in this his blessed presence, today our purpose is more practical. With our search for Eular at an impasse, we had hoped he might grant us inspiration. And that is why I believe our meeting with you here in this our hour of need is a sign from above, mayhap the work of Father Choso himself. I take from this that we are not meant to bear this burden alone. that the obstacles we face can only be surmounted by working in concert with others. Eular's disappearance has thrown the Scholasticate into turmoil, and the long shimmering mistrust between those of noble and ignoble birth has boiled over into outright hatred. Now more than ever we must seek to join hands with like-minded souls who understand that this malice will only serve to sow further discord, like-minded souls such as you. Like Mithrie's already ready for Stormblood, but she's still out in the snow. Whoops. So, I am reminded of the words of Volume 11 of Article Hellenic Polity. Of the Fury's love will all men receive, and by the balance of her spear will all be set free. We must strive to love our neighbour even as we love ourselves, just as Helene does. To do ourselves is to defy her will. Yes, and while we will surely be rewarded for our tolerance, the highborn bastards who would sooner pretend that passage doesn't exist won't be so lucky. Why, they may even find themselves on the receiving end of her spear for everything they've put us through. But ha ha ha, you shouldn't wish pain on anyone, idiot. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself, aren't I? We still haven't found a single clue as to Eular's whereabout. Fear not, Lay. With Mithrie at our side, I have faith that we shall find her, and that we will soon retake her rightful place in the hallowed halls of St. Endelim's Scholasticate. I hope you're right, and at any rate, we've done what we came to do, so there's no point freezing our asses off out here, until we meet again, Mithrie. Thankfully, Mithrie's, what's it called? Mithrie works out a lot, so the cold doesn't affect her as much. If you've ever been working out strongly in the gym, you know what I'm talking about. I miss those days. Okay, let's just go back to Foundation. And we'll try and teleport straight to the cathedral this time. Her metabolism is really, really high. Cool. So A for right, A for net. The cathedral. Go. At the time of recording, we are less than 2 weeks away from Stormblood. So let's see what new adventures we get in the expansion. Hopefully a lot. Okay, so let's go back. And in we go. Okay. So let's talk to this guy. So, Mistress Menethil, I trust you were able to find Theomosent and Lay. I see. Yes, the two of them have always shared a special bond with Father Choso. One that only seems to have grown stronger with his passing. It's encouraging to see that they have taken their lessons to heart and continue to work so fervently for the good of their fellow students. I fear, however, that a dark and treacherous path lies ahead of them. I only pray that when the time comes, they are ready for whatever challenges await. Cool. That's complete. Next quest is called Through the Grapevine. Father Satrius wears a troubled frown. So, Mistress Menethil, just the woman I was hoping to see. I am sorry to say that a rather disturbing rumour has been circulating around the Scholasticate of late, one which claims that Archchobadin arranged for Eular to be taken away. That the boy scorns those who favour different interpretations of the scriptures, I do not deny, but I labour to believe he would go so far. To engage in such conduct would risk not only his position as a prefect, but the very honour of House Duzamel, both of which mean a great deal to him. Regretfully, no one seems to know whence these ridiculous rumours come. They could have been concocted by anyone, or any number of reasons. In any event, with many still unsure what to make of Eular's sudden withdrawal, these wild accusations have only served to deepen the divide between our Samaritans? At this rate, I fear others may decide they no longer wish to remain at the Scholasticate, and so I would be most grateful if you would consent to investigate this matter. Should you oblige my request, I suggest you begin by speaking with Lebarasor. I am told he has spent the past few days looking into Ula's activities prior to her departure, likely with the intent to absolve our Chobadin of suspicion. Cool. So, let's go to the Pillars. And let's talk to Lebarasor. People's names are amazing. I do feel sometimes that these names were put into a random letter generator. So, okay, let me just check something. Okay, cool. Let's carry on. Okay, here we go. Right, so we need to go to there somewhere. So let's quickly teleport to the last vigil. Last vigil. Go. Okay. Right, so where is this person? Interesting. Where could they possibly be? Increase our movement speed a little bit. And sprint as well. Interesting. It's obviously not around here. I wonder if he's inside any of the houses, but I don't know if that would count. Probably not. Not around there. Behind any of the houses? There he is. Found him. So, let me guess. You caught wind of the rumors and thought you would come and investigate, yes? Yep. So, well, I will have you know that Chobadin is innocent. He has nothing, absolutely nothing to do with this nonsense. I have known him since childhood. While he might occasionally seem somewhat high-handed, mayhap even callous, he would never do anything to harm anyone. If that is not enough, there is also the fact that in the days of and weeks prior to Eula's disappearance, I was not out of his company for more than a few moments. He could not possibly have committed the crime of which he is accused without my knowledge. Whoever orchestrated all this clearly planned for the blame to fall squarely on his shoulders. That much is certain, yet numerous as the enemies of House Dizamel are, I struggle to think who would resort to something so underhanded. Unless it was the girl herself, don't you see? What better way to besmirch the good name of Ishgard's foremost houses and win over your peers than to vanish and later spread rumors that he was somehow responsible, and then go to and plant that is to say, oh, by the Fury, I pray I am not making a mistake. But first, I would have you swear to tell none but the Inspector what I am about to reveal. Okay. Mithrie's outfit is awesome. It really is. So, I stumbled across this, volume 11 of the Articles of Hellenic Polity. I had been conspicuously placed in Archbodin's dormitory room, with Eula's favourite bookmark tucked between its pages. I need hardly tell you what would happen if people were to learn of this. 'Tis but a mercy that I chanced upon it, and not one more credulous. However, now that we have deduced who the proprietor is, it should be simple enough to restore Chobadin's reputation. All we need to do is prove she and her revolutionary friends are responsible. Were I a braver and more foolish man, I would march down to the Broom and demand answers. But you, a hero blessed with the strength of 100, need not fear for your well-being there as I do. You are my only hope. Please, I beg of you, take the book and use it to find the girl and prove these foul rumors false. Okay. Right. Next. So we have to go back and deliver this book. I do wonder if eventually there will just be outright murder mystery stories in Final Fantasy. That's what's good about the way they've built the game. You could have so many different genres of game in the same MMO. Like, we've already had comedy, we've had sad stories, we've had serious things, we've had, you know, we've had even slight horror. If you guys remember the Tamtara, like, quest line. So they have a whole bunch of stuff. Mithrie, you are returned. Please tell me your inquiries have been more fruitful than my own. Okay, let's give this in. So volume 11 of Articles of Hellenic Polity. The infamous tome of parables on equality said to have mysteriously vanished off library shelves shortly prior to Eula's equally inexplicable disappearance. Okay, let's hand over. Sometimes I do feel it's important to actually read what the description of the key item is, because that can give you stuff that everything else doesn't. This is the missing volume. However did you find it? So, Lebrosa believes that Eula or one of her revolutionary friends planted it in Archibodem's room as part of an elaborate scheme to defame House Duzamel. I continue to be amazed by what ridiculous conspiracies these children can convince themselves are true, as if the future Ishgardian society shall be shaped by the actions of some few ambitious Samaritans. Anyway, I will allow that she may have been consorting with others who supported Reformation, and were she persuaded to engage in rebellious acts, the dormitory prefect would have been an ideal target. Alternatively, Archbandin was so arrogant and careless that he thought nothing of leaving incriminating evidence in plain sight. He would hardly be the first. Needless to say, speculation will avail us to naught at this juncture. First, I must see what I can learn from this book. In the meantime, I would have you go and speak with the people of the Broom. See what they know, if anything, about Eula, where she might have gone, whom she might have visited, and so forth. Failing that, keep your eyes open for news of unusual happenings. One can never be too well informed. Okay, fair enough. So now we need to go to the Broom. Now, if you don't recognize who Bradian is, during one of the quest lines for Hildebrand, he is a serious detective, you know, a proper detective. It was Hildebrand is a clown almost. So, but obviously he's now doing investigation into the Scholasticate because that's more up his aisle, sort of thing, up his alley. Okay, so I think we went to the wrong place. We have to go to the Forgotten Night. Actually, do we? We can go here though. Okay, cool. We do happen to be close to one of the places. So, you're not about to ask me to do you a favor, are you? You'll forgive me for being suspicious, but just the other day a man draped from the head to toe in fine silks approached me, all nervous and twitching. He tossed a purse at my feet, saying the gil in it was mine for the taking. All I had to do was head to the Grozier and buy him a couple of phials of cough syrup. Tempting as it was, I wasn't about to risk getting involved in somebody's shady schemes, so I told him to piss off, and that was that. Fair enough. Cool. So let's teleport to the Forgotten Night. It's one thing I'm intending to do when I first get to Kugane, is unlock all the Aethernet and try and understand what each one is close to. Try and learn my way around the city as soon as possible. So I distinctly recall telling you once that my patrons appreciate their privacy. Still, I know you wouldn't ask if it weren't important, so this time I'll oblige your curiosity. This hasn't got anything to do with your missing girl, mine, but a few days back, this one fellow comes and pays his tab in full. A surprising development, as I'd long since written it off as a loss. Came into money, he says, and has a mind to settle his debts. Pleased as I am by his changing fortunes, all the while I'm wondering who he left bleeding in the alley to get that much gil at once. He just followed Mithrie's crafting guides, that's all he did. So, cool. Where's this last person? Is it under here? Okay, ow, sorry. Let's talk to Ben, whoever Ben is. So leave me be, I've got nothing to say to the likes of you. What was that? You think I might have helped kidnap some highborn girl? God's sake. You and Theomosen make a fine pair, you do. Acting all high and mighty, pretending you care. But the only time you come around is when you're looking for someone to blame. To do with this. Eular's disappearance. If you ask me, you'd have a better luck harassing those blue bloods in the pillars. After all, they know better than anyone how to deal with inconveniences, eh? Okay, so now we need to go back to Brydian. Sorry. Best episode ever. Let's go back to the cathedral. Yeah. Okay, here he is. So, excellent timing, Mithrie. I have findings to share. While Eular's bookmark suggests that Volume 11 was within her possession at some point, it does not tell us when that point may have been. With this in mind, I decided to pay a visit to the seminary library. Sure enough, her signature was in the logs, indicating that she was the last person to have borrowed the tome. I compared the handwriting to samples from her old assignments, to be sure, and found no irregularities. One might argue that this supports Lebresor's theory that it is far from conclusive evidence. I suppose you cannot use those vaunted powers of yours to grant us a vision of the past and spare us further hardship? No, I can't use the echo at will, basically. I thought not. Then we shall rely on more traditional methods. So, what came of your inquiries in the broom? Do tell. Nothing, but that is to be expected, is it not? Again, I am reminded how ridiculous the two scenarios presented to us purporting grand conspiracies truly are. It is more likely that both the girl and the archer Bodin are innocent of wrongdoing. We must continue searching for more clues. Even the most insignificant tidbit may be all it takes for pieces of this puzzle to fall into place. Cool. That's through the grapevine done. So, a familiar resemblance. So, Brendan is eager to continue his investigation. So, seeing how reluctant some of the citizens were to answer your questions, I believe it is best for me to take over investigations in the Broom. As for you, yes, I am given to understand that Blasey and her friends have been conducting their own investigation. Though I am loath to admit it, given the fact that they are Sumerians, I can't pronounce that word, I should not be surprised if they have noticed something we overlooked. You may as well go and see what Blasey has learned. If you cannot find her at the Scholasticate, I imagine someone can point you in the right direction. Okay. So let's go into the Scholasticate and let's ask for her whereabouts. Let's do it. In we go. So, seminarians. Okay, I got you. Right. So, that is a question I, too, would like to know the answer to. I feel as though we haven't spoken in ages. I did, however, overhear some of the other seminarians say that they saw Theomosen at the Ark of the Venerable. If so, Blessé is certain to be close by. Okay, next. So, what with them both working to bring Eular back, Theomosen and Blessé have been good reason to spend a great deal of time together. These past few days, they've been running around the city making inquiries. I wouldn't be surprised if that's what they were up to today. Cool. Next. So, hasn't she been following Theomosen around like a lost puppy this fortnight? Find him and you'll probably find her, that's what I say. I don't know how he puts up with it, frankly. I suppose that unlike some of the seniors, he's simply too kind for his own good. Okay, next. So, Blessé, I haven't seen her all day. I expect she's gone out again with her friends to look for Eular. I still don't understand why they bother. The girl's probably off gallivanting about with heretics and revolutionaries. Even if they find her, I doubt she'll want to return. So, of course I don't know where she is. While I may be in charge of the dormitory, it's not my responsibility to hold seminarians' hands and wipe their asses. So, as you well know, in light of recent events, Archmodebedin has not the luxury to concern himself with such trivialities. Cool. So let's now go and talk to Blessé. Let's do it. Right, now, what I always wonder with these sort of stories and quest lines and so on is really, like you were saying, how tiny the fragment needs to be to bring the whole story together, all the evidence together, and find someone who's missing. You know, that someone knows something just hasn't said. You know, it's interesting. Like, the life of a detective must be very, very interesting. Like, maybe I should have been one in another life. Maybe I was one in another life. Who knows? Like, I just find it amazing how just one word from one person can lead to a lot. Okay, here's Blessé. Or Blacey, however you want to pronounce it. Interesting glasses. So, Gar, you startled me. I'm here for Eular's sake, lest you wonder. This is all part of your investigation, I swear. So, wait, you're not a seminarian, and yet you seem so familiar. I know, you're my brother's associate. To whom you referring? By brother you mean I'm not going to say anything. I'll just let her speak. My apologies, Mistress Mithrie. With all the stories I've heard from Bradian about you, I'd forgotten I have yet to introduce myself. I am Blessé, or Blair, Bradian's younger sister. A pleasure to meet you. So he sent you to see what I've learned? Then I'm afraid you'll be disappointed. I spent all night questioning merchants, watchmen, and random passers-by, and they told me absolutely nothing of interest. I recorded their statements for good measure, but quite honestly, it was a waste of ink and paper. So, Blessé, what are you doing here? Theo, I fancy meeting you here. I was just taking a moment to review these testimonies I had taken and thoughts to... but of course, You then thought to come and share your findings with us. Yes, that's it. While it might be a bit much, I wanted to make sure I did not omit a single word. Cool. By the Fury, Blissey, this is over 100 films long. I cannot even begin to imagine the amount of effort it took to organize all this information. It's incredibly heartening to know that there are others as dedicated as us to seeing Ula returned. Now, let's have a look, shall we? So, Investigation Log Entry 1. Master of Ishgardian Marcus, Mistress Alay's problems? Well, with this recent run of bad weather, we've had plenty. Why, just the other day, my back started to give me trouble, and I've had to hobble from place to place. Investigation Log Entry 2. Household Temp Steward, Horanot. I cannot guarantee this news will be of great interest to you or yours, but a 12-point proposal for the reformation of the Inquisition has recently been tabled by Lord Artrial in the House of Lords. Okay. So, Investigation Log Entry 10. Weaponsmith Elbert. Ever since the Blue Bastard and his lapdog put an end to the war, profits have plummeted. I've had to sell my best stock for a fraction of its worth just to make ends meet. He's actually reading it all. Entry 21, Carvery Mestono. I've barely enough time to fill my customers' orders, much less keep an eye out for foolish. God damn it, Theo, that's enough. None of that rubbish is even remotely relevant. Now, don't you think you're being a touch too hasty? We've not gotten even a third of the way through, so we may yet learn something of value. Let's not dismiss Blissey's hard work of hand. Thank you, Theo, for your kind words. I'm glad you think it may be of use. Fine, let's briefly entertain this thought and say that something in these notes will help us find Ula. How exactly do you propose that we determine what that is? Lele, we needn't do a thing, for though we may lack the skill to discern the relevant from the mundane, a certain inspector we know and love is a dab hand at such thing, no? But of course, Inspector Radian, brilliant idea, Kramovo. Mithrie, if you take this scroll to him and see what he can make of it. Thank you. So, I doubt even he could make heads or tails of this rubbish. In any event, it's out of our hands. We should continue with our search. Nod. So this questline is very different. Right, so let's go back to the cathedral. Right, cathedral, go. So the last quest thing is coming up for 3.4. So we meet again. Doubtless you have much to share. I know I do. Do you recall Gilbertont's patron, who recently paid off his debts, and the gentleman attempting to attain cough syrups? Upon further investigation, it turns out they share one astoundingly familiar facial feature. A pale raised scar running from the top of their left cheekbone to the jaw. It so happens that this description also matches that of a notorious thug who was known to hang around the outside taverns and harness patrons for coin. Until an unexpected windfall saw his fortunes vastly improve. He is now rumoured to make a living as a travelling merchant, though where he goes and what he sells none can say. We shall find out in due time, but enough of my discoveries. What have you learned? Okay, let's hand over Blissey's notes. So, a scroll full of testimonies written in Blissey's meticulous hand, outlining any dubious activities shopkeepers and citizens of the Julgrosia have recently witnessed. Cool. By the Fury, this is longer than some scripture, as she compiled it all in less than a single day, you say? Remarkable. Investigation log entry 1. Master of Ishgardian Marcus, Mistress Soleil's problems? Well, this recent run of bad weather, blah 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 blah. On the other hand, the Grosia has been seen increasing trades in oils, furs, and other goods folks begin to crave when it grows cold. So in that regard, I can't complain. F13, proprietor of Sundries, Paz de Ville. The other day, there was one fellow who wanted to purchase robes for a young woman. A merchant, he said, but I've never known one who couldn't be bothered to haggle. Not that I minded, of course. Number 21. I've barely enough time to fill my customers' orders, much less keep an eye out for foolish girls getting themselves into trouble. Now, if you excuse me, I really must be getting back to it. I'm expecting several regular customers any minute. 47. Mestono has brought my whole stock of cough syrup every day for the past week. Passing strange, needless to say, so I followed him and found that he was reselling my products to another people, I tell you. Oh, well, that's a link for you. So, a gentleman procuring cough medicines through a third party, that story has a familiar ring to it, does it not? A man with a questionable past, recently come into wealth and playing at being a merchant, who so happens to travel with a young girl prone to fits of coughing. Are you thinking what I'm thinking, Mithrie? The medicine is key, so it's pen we must watch. Perdeville is somehow involved. We must keep a close eye on Mistress Soleil's. I don't like the cut of Mustano's jib. Yeah, I'll go with that one. Nor I. 'Tis a pity our merchant friend had not the wits to match his newfound wealth. I could have done with a greater challenge, but that is neither here nor there. Come, Mithrie, let us pay a visit to Mustano's stall. Cool. See, I was actually paying attention and I got the right answer. Okay, next quest is called Finding Eular. So this is the last quest of 3.4. So, Brindian is on the verge of a breakthrough. So, given how poorly this man has covered his tracks, I am inclined to believe that he will come to the Grosia sooner rather than later to procure the usual assortment of goods. Let us head there, Mithrie. We must follow the trail while it is still fresh. Cool. Right. So let's go to the jeweled Grosia. Automatic doors. Yay. Okay, jeweled Grosia. Right, so we need to go to there. Okay. I remember when this place was overflowing with players. But hopefully that will be the case come Stormblood. So, if he comes this way to purchase food and medicines from Mustano as frequently as Blissey notes indicates, we shouldn't have long. Mithrie, over there, that scar, those robes. That's our man. pleasure to see you again, sir. The usual. Aye, and don't forget the you-know-what. So hurry, Mithrie. We mustn't let him out of our sight. Cool. Okay, let's hurry. We need to go to... Oh, we have to go all the way to there. Let's just teleport. Okay, let's see. Okay, there we go. So our suspect just passed through the Ark of the Worthy, where there is like to be fewer people. Take care not to be spotted. So we have to go to the Central Highlands. Crossing the steps. Yep. Right, so it's been a while since I've run around this area. So it would appear our suspect is not alone. He has a guard with him. I should like very much to know the contents of that carriage. Keep them distracted while I sneak past with you. Approach them and announce you are here to conduct a surprise inspection. You will undoubtedly command their full attention for a sufficient amount of time. Are you ready, Mithrie? Very good. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm the police. So, with the chat mode in Say, use your keyboard or software keyboard to enter any phrase containing the word inspection to draw the merchant and his guard's attention. Let's see. Okay, so any word with inspection. I am not here to do an inspection. Lol. Reverse psychology. Inspection? What in the seven hells are you talking about? You're no temple knight. You've no right unless... So I trust these goods have been properly secured and the carriage is ready for a quick getaway if necessary. Right then, where were we? Ah yes, we will not be consenting to your inspection. Now kindly piss off. Damn it boy, what are you doing? My apologies, sir. I thought I saw movement around back. Maybe I should go and check. Idiot. Can't you see that this goon is intent on starting a fight? Take care of her first and conduct your checks after, as you do. You should have run while you had the chance. Want a bed? You don't know who you're messing with, boy. Alright. Ah. I mean, doesn't this make Mithrie and Brydian bandits? We basically just murdered them to steal their caravan. Ooh, is that Eula? Well, apparently they're alive. So Mithrie, it was as we suspected. The thug and his guard have been holding Eula hostage in the back of this carriage ever since she vanished. Though this ordeal has undoubtedly caused her a deal of distress, she does not appear to be physically injured. While you are doubtless eager to question her, as I am, she must be given time to rest and recuperate. These two, on the other hand, need not be afforded any such consideration. You there, what is the meaning of this? Ah, so it seems that earlier commotion has drawn the attention of the guards. Excellent. They can deal with the ruffians. So, I shall escort Eula to the Scholasticate dormitory and speak with the instructors. When all has been settled, let us speak again at St. Remened's Cathedral. St. Remened's Cathedral. Bye. My caravan. Okay, let's go to Foundation. In Stormblood, I probably will have to use the favourite feature for teleporting around, because otherwise the list is just going to become too long. Okay, A for right, A for Nat, Cathedral. Let's do it. It's almost there. In terms of 3.4, then we have to do 3.5. Yeah. Let's talk to Brydian. So, you should be glad to hear that Eula will be fine. Sister Gaytel is with her now, tending to her needs as we speak. Cool. So I expect that she will soon be strong enough to answer our questions. Until then, however, we must make do with what information the Temple Knights can extract from the kidnappers. Unfortunately, while the ruffians confess to abducting Eula in exchange for a large sum of gil, they have told us little else of value thus far. Apparently their employer draped themselves in such thick furs that they cannot even say if they were a man or woman. They claim his cloaked figure offered no explanation as to why they wanted them to snatch the girl and keep her confined to the carriage indefinitely, and so they had no choice but to keep moving, to stay ahead of the Temple Knights and await further instruction. Hopefully we will learn more of the interrogation progress. I fear, however, our mastermind has cloaked themselves in a layer upon layer of secrecy, and it will take more than a few pointed questions to penetrate all of them. Mithrie is so tiny. But regardless of how well they are hidden, their intentions and their identity, we will bring them to justice soon enough. And once we learn all that we can from our friends in the Temple Knight's custody, as well as Eula, we will be much closer to restoring peace to the Scholasticate. It's funny that they always show Mystery Guy like this. To shine the light of truth upon his secrets buried in the dark, the children once more come together Their power might something something. Damn it. Faded out too quick. Cool. Right. So that's it. We got that achievement done. And that's the end of the Scholasticate quest for patch 3.4. So anyway, guys, that's it for this episode. Thank you for watching. And as always, goodbye from me and goodbye from Mithrie. Bye, guys.